What is up? It's Dave, it's Duncan, back from Metal Epidemic for another album review. For this review, Duncan and I have been checking out the new album from Californian metallic hardcore outfit, Mugshot. The band's new album, All the Devils Are Here, will be released on June 27th via Pure Noise Records. While most bands, heavy bands, mellow out, even if just a little, as they move through their life and career, Mugshot are not most heavy bands. Just under a decade on from the release of their acclaimed 2016 debut, Dull Boy, the San Jose, California four-piece are back with All the Devils Are Here. The metalcore hardcore outfit's second studio full-length and first for Pure Noise, from the moment kicks off with opener Die in Fear, it's clear that this is Mugshot at their most extreme and brutal, both musically and thematically. While the band's 2023 EP Cold Will was a set of songs centred around the abuse of power and authority from a more political point of view, those on All the Devils Are Here appeal to a more personal human emotion. So rather than a call to arms, these songs deal with the consequences and impact external forces have on everyday people's lives. Inherently, we're fairly political people, just in that we lean left and we deal with being in a band and being broke because of the political system we live in. But instead of writing, say, a song about Donald Trump, it's a lot more about the way that it affects us in our personal lives. I want lyrics that mean something to the person writing them. Recorded in New Jersey with producer-engineer Randy LaBeouf.
Oh, the beef.
Who has worked with Kubla Khan, Acacia Strain, Gideon, Bad Omens, to name a few. It's the first Mugshot record not produced entirely by drummer Connor Haynes. That led to a renewed energy in the studio that's almost tangible when you hear these songs. It also sees Ringo Waterman fully settle into his role as vocalist after joining the band in 2023. And while All the Devils Are Here doesn't entirely represent a new era for the band, it does still signify and continue what Haynes refers to as the new vibe, new energy and new presence, surrounding and propelling the band since Waterman joined. There is, however, a new attitude for the band and for the singer specifically. At the root of these songs, for me, the singer says this album is less on the self-loathing side. It's more like, okay, I'm done taking shit. I woke up one day and decided I was done self-loathing and feeling bad about the way that people treat me. I'm not going to sit here and let someone belittle me or make me feel a certain way and just let them get away with it. It's all about catharsis, adds Demko. If you have some anger inside you, I hope we worded it in a way that makes you go, I feel that. All right, so Mugshot, album number 2, All the Devils Are Here. Not a band I was overly aware of.
No, a mugshot in the UK is it's a kind of, it's like ramen but with pasta. And you put it in your mug at lunchtime and fill it with hot water, give it a few stars in 5 minutes, and you get like what would most likely make an Italian nonna's heart explode and keel over. They're not very good. They're not nutritious.
No,
so
they're not.
When you said it to me, I was like,
Mugshot.
interesting name for a band. And then, then thought, well, Mugshot's what they call the picture that you get when you're arrested by the police in the States.
True.
So I'm just saying that we're from two different cultures. I get it now. You're not an instant pasta dish in a cup.
So what did you think of the album? What did you think of All the Devils Are Here?
Well, I, like you, I'd not heard of the band before, so I don't read the press, so I didn't know what I was getting when I hit like play on Die in Fear, and like I almost had like a prolapse. Holy fucking shit! We were like, see that last Kubla Khan album?
Yeah.
You hit play on it, and they scream at you, Khan means king.
Yeah.
And you're just like sat. It's like someone puts like a burlap sack over you and then beats you with a baseball bat for like the 30 seconds that track goes on. It's kind of like that, but and I mean this in the nicest possible way. But if that sound somehow made its way into Ross Robinson's studio when they were recording Slipknot's debut, there's that, like, the lead vocals, the heavier gruff vocals remind me of a more aggressive, more amped up early Corey Taylor. Something in the distortion, there's like, it's a controlled distortion. Like, it's not, I just get the feeling that's the tone that comes out. Like there isn't an effector or anything, and he's probably quite close to the mic as well. And there are very few men with the beefy hands of Randy LaBeouf that can keep that vocal in control. He's all over it. It just has that rabid energy that just sells everything. Now, had you told me the drummer produced every other one, I would have said the drummer produced this because it has like that piss and razors rub on it of the drums here. In fact, I think it's track is the one Baptized in Concrete. Has a whole section on like the ride bell, and I think it's like one of these cymbal things, and a whole section which is just all groove and headbang. And I was like, that fucking Big Eddie Garcia would be weeping right now. Tears of joy to hear that. So this is the like savage cunt punt of an album. There's no getting around it. It really doesn't have like a second of give at all in any track. There's no right. Here's the 30-second, fucking ukulele intro. Like it has none of it has no rest at all. And it also like just has really inventive ways of like breaking down tracks, and it's like I think in this genre we call them beat downs, don't we? I need to get my terminology right. The savage beat downs in this. The pit at one of their shows is just all windmilling. Just a series. There's so many arms flying around that it could like power a small nuclear reactor. It's like a million hamsters on wheels. I'm being goofy about a lot of what I've said before, mostly because the track is just so damn aggressive. Like you get 30 seconds into this, you want to pick up a chair and smash it over something. Like I didn't know what political statements or lack thereof that they're actually making in this album, but I was angry listening to it. Like someone was sitting down and they're like, yeah, and did you get your bonus this year? No. Well, March did over there, and March did fuck all this year. And I'm like, fuck March, you know what I mean? Like fucking burn this motherfucker. Like I felt myself getting like more amped up the more I listened to it. This is a pick me up album if ever you need one. But the pick me up is by the scruff of the neck. You've been spat in the face, slapped twice, kicked in the balls, and then told to get out there and make a difference. They use so many kind of old school, kind of metallic hardcore meets new school techniques. It's like a kind of like a joy to listen to. I was getting heavy swaths of like kind of early 2000s, kind of almost Ferret Records, kind of savagery on the guitars. Meets this new thing, which I love now that every band's doing. I'm actually wearing a band that has it a lot in their new album. That kind of straight from the path new album has that kind of squealy thing, that meow, meow kind of thing that bring the albums. They don't use it much here. I think it's on like 2 songs, and it stands out because they don't overuse it. I love it is 2 vocalists. There's someone doing backing vocals at a higher range, or if this guy's doing that, it's fucking incredible. Because there's 2 different
I think there must be a backing vocalist. It wasn't listed, but I think there must be.
Oh, like I'd love the register of both. So main vocalist sits at a much more gruff lower register, and then you get the one that sits mid-range above it, and it's all fucking. There is no like, and the mid-range singer does like melody. No. It's all fucking angry and savage and screamy and shouty. But the contrast of the 2 together, where one switches out and the other one comes in, chef's kiss. Fucking phenomenal. Speaking about phenomenal, like the guitar riffs are just fucking awesome on this one. Really inventive, really playful. Bringing those drums where we're like doing a little bit of like 2-step, but like into like just fucking full on like headbang savage hardcore. There's bits where they pick up the pace called far more fucking attack and a bit kind of hostile hardcore punk. And you've got that with riffs that are going everything from kind of metalcore, punk, hardcore, metallic hardcore. But they don't like, even when I say beatdowns, they don't do breakdowns, which I love. They're all kind of in that swing your arms fucking rimmed and do spin kicks. And they don't fall into the traps that a lot of bands now do, where they feel they need to a little bit of studio wizardry to give a boom in the background. They have enough punch that you're just not fucking required. Very anthemic as well. Like they have those bits where like good hardcore bands have those moments where everyone shouts in on certain phrasing. So albums awash with them as well, which makes me think, well, the live crowds are going to fucking eat this totally up. I think the runtime is perfect on this one. Like, none of the tracks are particularly long at all. In fact, I think you won't find a track that runs over like the 3.5 minute mark at all. Most of them sit between 2.5 minutes, which is enough. It fits perfectly on there, so there's a really good flow. I don't know if I have a huge much more to say about it, except I felt angry listening to it, and I felt relieved when it was over. Not relieved because the music was finished, but the same way that people pay money to go into a room and smash pottery for half an hour and then come out just like completely chilled and like that, the catharsis of just destroying shit. This is like the musical equivalent of that. Like, I feel like this is cheaper than therapy and much needed. Absolutely great. Like, I never heard of them before. Kind of fucking love them. There's space in my heart for bands like this that know exactly what they're doing, have that one tone, and that one tone is just fucking vicious, and then give you it all the way right through. No frills, no gimmicks. Here. It's laid bare, harder to hide things in that music that don't work, and there isn't anything here that doesn't work, so no need for hiding. Absolutely brilliant. And Big Beefy does it again. This guy, by the way, like Randy, like everything that is like the Midas touch for making bands sound fucking savage as fuck. And he's done it again.
Nice. As I said, hadn't heard of the band before, so
this is a Davey album. Like, I was 30 seconds into it, and I was like, geez, listen to that drum tone. Dave will be fucking cranking it right now.
I jumped online and I went and checked out their debut album first, Dull Boy, which came out in 2016, so we're talking like a fair bit of time.
Different vocalists as well, you said?
Just to kind of get an idea of like where they came from before. And like Dull Boy is pretty aggro, like, to be honest. Like, it's very heavy on the hardcore side of things. No real frills, like quite a straightforward and its formula, kind of, to be honest. Like, it's a hardcore album, so it kind of does what it says in the tin. However, as you said, they've had kind of changes in the band since then. And as soon as I heard, I think it was Veil of Tears, I think was the album, the single, sorry, that I heard first from the album. Like, the jump from that, like from Dull Boy to that track is like unbelievable, like night and day. It sounds like a different band, to be honest. Everything sounds bigger, and not just from a production perspective, which, well, it's Randy LaBeouf, so just expect your ears to leave in a completely different condition as they were to how you started this album. But the production is just absolutely hench in this, as you'd expect. Like, if you've heard like the last Kubla Khan, or the new Orthodox album we just reviewed recently as well, you'll know like this guy delivers such a real kind of sonic punch with his production, and this is no exception. The guitars are absolutely disgusting on this. You've got like thick, really dense metallic tones. The drums could just like punch a hole in you. Just like a real nasty sounding production. These tracks just sound really decimating, like as soon as it kicks in. But that's not all that's changed here. What once was a kind of fairly kind of predictable hardcore band is now a much different beast. You've got elements of metalcore, deathcore, these heavy grooves. There's little kind of tinges of like almost kind of drum and bass in here as well at times. Even the kind of hardcore components of this album are much more interesting than they once were. The kind of hardcore stuff is more on the kind of like the intensity level of like a Knocked Loose. Just when the band are just kind of like pile driving you with like riff after riff. Got little kind of hints of like almost kind of like the Acacia strain coming through at times. Great American Ghost End as well, a little bit Distinguisher slightly. But I think Mugshot kind of package it in a way that feels more like them. Well, it's got influence and stuff. And like the styles they're using are styles you're used to hearing kind of bundled together. But even there's parts where it feels like they are kind of trying to push out with the boundaries of that as well, which I quite liked. Like every now and then I felt like there was a little kind of almost like a little morsel of like kind of death metal in there as well at times. And it's like a blink and you'll miss it kind of type addition. But on my like second and third listen to this album, I started picking out there's little bits where they go kind of more kind of like tremolo style death metal. It kind of links certain sections. As I say, it's like sometimes it's just like 5 seconds, but it's a nice little way of like segueing into a breakdown or something more up tempo, but being less kind of predictable with it, which I thought was cool. In general, though, the riffs on this are just different level to Dull Boy, much more intricate. There's more moving parts, plenty of, as you said, there's like squeals and shrieks and bends here and there. So it's always doing something, but always very satisfying as well.
It's that kind of glitchy thing they use in All the Devils, the fucking title song. There's a kind of glitchy thing they use, which isn't. I don't think that's. I think that's like an actual guitar pedal, as opposed to someone like sitting with the files in a computer going, take it a bit, take it a bit, take it a bit, take it a bit, take it a bit. Now squeeze it. Yeah, and like it sounds like like the same way that Dimebag would use like the Digitake whammy pedal. It's kind of something like that. But they use about 3 or 4 techniques in a phrase, and it sounds cool as fuck. But they don't do that anywhere else. And it's really smart for doing that, because that could get really gimmicky really fucking quick.
Yeah, it does feel like at times like every riff hits harder than the last one, or the next riff's always slightly more interesting than what they've done before. I lost like count of how many times I went, oh yeah, just like during the album, it's just a constant stream of like punishment from the guitars. Drums as well, though. A real highlight on this album from Connor Haynes. He kind of matches that intensity and complexity of the guitars by like replicating a lot rhythmically, but also adding in his own like bursts of technicality when it's needed. But he cleverly does that type of thing when the riffs aren't too busy, so it's a really nice balance that they've got between the drums and the guitars. Vocally, Ringo sounds utterly savage on this. Like I'm not throwing shade at the previous vocalist, but this guy has like levels. His tone is visceral, and just hits so many different places within the vocal range. It just adds so much like intensity to these tracks. And there's no, as you said, there's no clean melody or anything like that on this album. But when he does reach into those kind of guttural kind of parts of his voice, it really like adds like an element of weight to these tracks. And in a way, like my only kind of question about this album was, does it sit within that kind of like high intensity range for too long? This album doesn't have any dips in it really, even like the mid album transitional kind of track, Flesh of My Body, it's like a 39-second destructive force, you know what I mean? It's like they've tweaked the production on it, and make it a bit more gritty, but it doesn't make it any less intense. And I get that it's only like, the album's only like 25 minutes long, so even though it doesn't give you a huge amount in the way of kind of like dynamics, it doesn't hang around for longer than it's needed either. It's kind of, it's not like that one friend that want to leave the party once it's over, you know what I mean? Like these guys, they know when to make their exit, basically. The closing track, Next to Your Idols, I wasn't like totally sold on it the first time I heard it. I felt like the last track in comparison to the rest of the album was, I don't know, a bit more kind of rudimentary. It's structurally and musically a bit more repetitive. It's still heavy, and maybe a touch more ominous, possibly. But I don't know. The last track left me feeling a little bit flat, almost. And I mean, I kind of get why it's like that. It's almost got an outro kind of vibe. But I'd be lying if I said it was like the closer I was hoping for. I think they could have maybe went either a bit more experimental or even maybe stripped it back. Maybe got more kind of like haunting with it, possibly. That's just me, but yeah, it was just a small thing. Just that last track was like, all right, it was cool, but maybe not, as strong as some of the stuff they'd done previously on the album. That aside, like, this, it kicks like a mule, this album. Very easy listen, very like sonically pleasing on the ear. And I imagine, like, it's not a band I'd kind of heard of before, but I imagine we'll hear more about this band now, kind of going forward. Now this one's coming out on Pure Noise. I hope that now the kind of the tap is now running for this band. I feel like hopefully we get maybe the full length albums or releases will become a bit more regular than like 9 years apart.
Yeah.
Hopefully. So final thing, scores for the new Mugshot album. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I don't think Pure Noise is going to be like that. Well done, guys. Right, 9 years for the next album. And I want to churn these things out.
Yeah.
To me, this, like, there wasn't really anything that I disliked at all. I think it is super heavy, hits so fucking hard. And I feel like giving it anything less than a 4.5 would be an injustice for me. So that's exactly where I'm coming in. I had a great time with this.
Yeah, nice.
Made me angry. Like, I can't stress that enough. Listening to it, I was fucking furious. But I got to the end of it and felt totally chill.
Nice. Yeah, I think this album really like showcases the huge potential this band have. As I said, they've made huge like strides since that debut album in 2016, and even on their 2023 EP, you can hear there's been development since then as well. I think they have still like even more room to grow. I'd love to hear them, push the boundary even further with the next one, and get like even more into their own lane. But like, this is a very solid album. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 on this one. But yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. So that is the new album from Mugshot. All the Devils Are Here, which comes out on June 27th on Pure Noise Records. Check out the links to the band, the pre-order. I'll put one of the singles there as well so that you can check it out. That is the review. Thanks for checking it out. Much appreciated. We'll be back with another review very soon. But until then, take care. Speak to you soon.
Bye, everyone.